Hi there. This is Arno from PowerSoft, and today I'm just going to walk you through this series of video that I've titled Manufacturing Intelligence in ERPNext. Typically, we'll be looking at some custom report that provides solutions to factories and a lot of manufacturers on how they can reduce waste and improve production efficiency using ERPNext. Typically, we'll be diving into matters related to scrap and then yield and then overall equipment efficiency and production cost analysis. Okay. The problem is that today, a lot of companies still struggle with the same problems that you'll be amazed that yeah they still exist, and that has got to do with raw materials disappearing at the end of production. Wastage is not properly tracked, and then you find a lot of machines that might have stopped. Okay, equipment that are supposed to be used for production in the course of the production or prior to production, they are not working, and nobody knows the cost of the downtime, okay, in the entire organization. And management cannot also see clearly whether the production is efficient or not, right? So the solution that this video seeks to address is that for us to be able to have a custom report that you will not find in ERPNext. Application is good. You will find ERPNext will help to be able to keep track of the data that is required in terms of, let's say, wastage or scrap or employee performing or working on a machine for production purposes, right? After any work order has been assigned and there's job cards and all of that, yeah. But then management needs to have clear visibility into these problematic areas, right? So we will just take a typical case study producing potato chips, right? And you realize that managers often than not, they want to answer some questions like how much raw material, in this case potato, was used today, how much the finished product was actually produced, how much wastage might have occurred during a certain process. So it doesn't matter it being a food industry, it is just a scenario, whether you are in production or manufacturing of airlines, or you are in the production of some tools, or it can be a factory producing steel or manufacturing even car or doing some plant and here and there, right? You realize that yes, you all need to answer the same questions like which machines are slowing down in the course of production and what is the real cost of producing each batch, right? So enough of this slide. I just want to go straight into the application. And before I just show this key report and how beneficial they are to management as custom report, right? I just want to just show for the benefit of our viewers, first time or even new users of the application, but we will not go into the very basics, right? So that we can quickly show those management reports to meet the goal that for which we are here. So straight away, I would like to go into a common 10 BOM, which obviously is familiar with it. Like there's familiarity in terms of at the end of the day, a lot of end users are familiar with it. So yeah, if you take this bill of material, obviously the raw materials have been set over here. You will notice that at the end of the production, I have indicated those scrap items that, of course, at the end of that, the production process may come out, obviously, and of course the costing are all over here. So we're not going into the basics, right? But let's assume that yes, there is a production entry that has a production plan that has been done for this potato chips. So obviously, just giving an idea about the basic things for just for you to have an idea, right? So let's assume there's a production plan that there is the need to produce thousand of, let's say, sorry about that. Let me just try to find the right one. Um, just a sec. Okay, here we go. I found that. Yeah, so you can see that over here, there was a production plan to produce 1,000 pack of this, okay, by the production manager, right? But at the end of the day, let's say maybe they were able to fulfill 600 quantity produced, right? Now let's go into the work order for this one that was issued to them. Production floor, where supervisors have the work order and all of that. So here we go. So I have already completed this work order, but just going through the processes. Yeah, so in this work order, of course, there was 1,600 was done. And then, of course, this were the requirement and all of that, right? And you can see obviously from here that, yes, we source the material from the raw material warehouse, and then it is transferred into the work in progress, and then the finished goods should be here. Now, if there is any scrap, it will be here. These are the various operations, like it has to go through all these stages. That's so depending on whether you are in the steel production, furniture manufacturing, car manufacturing, obviously all the stages or processes or procedures for which we need to acquire the final finished product will be spelled out obviously over here, and then we can follow the procedures. Now you notice that within this work order there were 5 job cards, right, which obviously are the various jobs or procedures, okay, that needs to be followed over here. So you notice that during the packing stage there was 1,000 to be done, 900 was completed. So there is like a process loss quantity over here as well, right? Now, in all of these things, let's say all these stages have been completed, some they could not complete it in full. So you are able to, ERPNext is able to give us that ability to know that, okay, which employee executed this task. So over here, we know that, yes, it was employee with a code ending 003, which is fine. So let's say that employee is called John, right? Then John was able to complete, let's say 900. This is the time it took John to complete. So what it means is that in ERPNext, if we expect the task to be completed in 60 minutes, right? That's 1 hour. And John was able to complete in 30 minutes. The system will obviously be able to let us know the efficiency in terms of manpower or the labor that we have. If John was able to do maybe complete this in 30 minutes, that also shows John is more productive or even more efficient, right? Similarly, if John was not able to complete, the time in terms of efficiency they took to deliver the result is measured in ERPNext by they logging the time and the quantity that they were able to execute. And remember that this is all linked to the workstation where the execution was done, and then the warehouse that these materials are existing, right? And the activity that is occurring. So the same logic applies to almost all the employees. If somebody executed a washing procedure and that person here is employee 002, we're tracking all of that, right? So those will be the processes involved in terms of after you have your BOM set up and your work order, or sorry, your production entry or production plan is done. Then obviously you have your work order linked to the job cards, right? To be able to time the efficiency of that. Now, in this work order, you realize that yes, the basic things will be fulfilled. Like I said, if it's a stock transfer or any stock movement and all of that, yes, they will be fulfilled over here. So you can see there are 2 stock entries over here. Now in these stock entries, this is the first transaction where the material get transferred from the raw material warehouse to the work in progress warehouse, right? Now, from the work in progress warehouse, that is where the actual manufacturing activity or production finally occurs. So you realize that, yes, there is from the source and to the target, this were the work in progress items, which upon production, we get this finished product, potato chips pack 600, right? Then there were some kind of scrap or waste product that came out, okay, or the residue, let me call it that way, after the production. So those things will be dumped in the scrap warehouse. So depending on how you have set up your ERPNext, you can obviously achieve that, right? Remember that all the accounting things will be booked, definitely. So I won't go into those details, but I mean to say that, yes, the necessary debit and credit So that will be it for this one. The same way too, of course, whenever we do such a transaction also, remember that there will be a stock ledger always where we can see that, okay, we have the red means that all this raw material, the raw material that ended up in the work in progress have gone out, and then we have our finished product coming in 600, and then this is the in for the waste that came in the scrap warehouse. It's not mandatory to, of course, configure the residue if you want, right? So these are the basics for new users or beginners that want to have an idea about what the system can do. So all this data for sure is already there in ERPNext. Now we move into the like the purpose or the advanced report that we have tried to provide, right? So in between, I also want to highlight that yes, in ERPNext, in case any machine is down, it's not working, it can be there can be an entry for that machine. For example, maybe this the packing machine or the cutting station. Probably there was an unplanned machine maintenance that is required. Whilst this person was operating it, and then this was the downtime in minutes, all can be recorded. If you have any remarks, you can keep it as well. Yeah. So that would be for downtime, which is also important, right? As it affect the efficiency. So that would be a basic sort of overview in terms of all the way from BOM production entry to work order to stock entries as far as job cards are concerned. Now, as we mentioned earlier in our PowerPoint presentation, we want to be able to have solutions to these issues. Just a second. Cases whereby wastage is not properly tracked. So for this, management needs a very good report that they will be able to see wastage clearly, and then the causes and all of that, how it happened and all of that, and how they can prevent raw materials from disappearing, and how when machines get stopped, nobody knows the cause of the downtime, right? So it's all about efficiency over here. So I will just go straight into the custom report that we have built. So if you move here, so this is the default ERPNext report view. I will just filter for the custom report that we have built to go through this with you. Yeah. So the first one we'll take a look at is the production scrap report, right? This report. So yeah, I will show the report now. So let's take a look at this one. What this report tries to do. It tries to look at the work order and the finished item. So let's say this potato, for example. Then you realize that this was the planned, production quantity, the actual production quantity. Okay. So if there was any residue after the production, it's able to answer that and give management an idea that, okay, this was the residue after that. And then this was the expected in terms of the quantity that the residue, in terms of the potato peels, how much it was in terms of quantity, and then the actual scrap quantity. This was the expected. So it's like when the production activity was being executed, it has already been planned, right? That when you execute this, the maximum of wastage that we should expect should be this. If it exceeds this, then it means that it is affecting the efficiency of the production. So that is where we have the waste status over here, right? So this is very low. And remember, these are dummy data, right? Just to show you what this custom report, the power, the value it gives the organization beyond what the default ERPNext report are capable of giving you, right? Yeah. So if I should clear these filters over here, to get a better idea about where you have excess waste. What do I mean by this? For example, for example, the expected waste, right, after production should be this. But then this was exceeded. So this becomes something interesting where management want to know why. Is it due to the machine malfunction for that particular work order, or an employee was not efficient? Because if you take two employees and all of them can do the peeling, or they can bend the two, right? And one cannot bend it. It's either that person may need retraining and all of that. So this can go into advanced analytics to be able to make sure that informed decisions are being taken. So that would be the first report, right? We can also analyze production cost analysis, where we need to be able to. So yeah, we will dive into the production cost analysis report as well. Now, in this report, in ERPNext, you will have your bill of material, all right. If you go directly into the bill of material, you'll be able to see like how do you call it? The cost per unit for sure, right? But the cost per unit may change if there was a wastage, because your waste affects your final cost, right? And then of course, if less materials were used in the production and all of that, or even if more was used, because if more was used, that's excess. If less was used, that also affects the cost. So here, if we take, for example, I will do the analysis by this. This is the planned production quantity from the production entry, which obviously translates into the work order. But this was the actual production quantity, 600. But this was the raw material cost, right? Which will come from our bill of material for sure. If there are any operating costs, other operating costs, they will be here. Now, this is where it gets tricky. This is the scrap value, okay, which tends to come up from like your total production of your raw material operating cost into this. Now, with this report, you'll be able to get a cost per unit, okay? So you can see here tells us that there was a high production cost, and that might be probably because of the what has been planned that to be the expected, how do you call it, production cost. Yeah, so you can see over here that where there shouldn't be any, where there's supposed to be normal cost, you'll be able to get that. Yeah, again, these are dominators for you as well, right? So we'll go on to the next report. So that would be labor efficiency analysis. So let's open that and see. So here in labor efficiency analysis, by the way, all the report that I have showed earlier, you might not have seen some posting dates. No worries about that. Those can be easily be built upon based on your requirement. Over here, this is a posting date. We can have filters and all of that, and the work order, and then this is a job card. This is the operation. Now, if you look at this operation, this is the employee in question, or let's say the operator or the person who performed that particular operation. It was planned that they should execute probably 1,000 quantity to pack, right? But they ended up completing 900. There was a process loss of 100, and the estimated time they took was 60 minutes, and the actual time. So, sorry, they are expected to do this in 60 probably minutes, right? But then you realize that, yes, they were able to do more within that 60, sorry, within a 20 minutes. So they actually did, they were able to produce, how do you call it, 900 with 100 remaining. So that is in terms of translating to they being high productive, right? If where you have a case like, okay, this person is supposed to do 500, or let's say this person is, oh, sorry, I mixed that. Let's say they were able to do the same 500, but they were expected to do this in 10 minutes, but they ended up using a 30 minutes, this particular record, right? So that becomes a low productivity. And this is the labor efficiency in terms of percentage, right? Yeah. So these things are important for management to have a good idea where they can just filter for employees who usually, so if you have the same employee repeating, like in this case, Fred answer, repeating so many times, then you may want to probably have the HR to look at this guy, and then probably whether he has to be recommended for training, evaluate his performance overall, right? And then try to make informed decisions. So yeah, labor efficiency report is critical for the organization in long effect, right? Now, moving from that side, right, there's this yield analysis report that is also critical that we can take a look at it. Yeah, so here we go for the yield analysis report. Typically, it is just giving us an indication, right, that yeah, for this particular work order, okay, maybe you needed this much potato chips. This was the raw material that you consume. This is the expected output. And then, of course, this is just straightforward, right? It's just a straightforward thing, yeah, but it's also very good report. Now, we will take a look at the last one, and then we are done over here. So the last one is overall equipment effectiveness report. Yeah, so here we go with that. Yeah, so for the overall equipment report, it gives us an idea whether there have been any downtime, how long the machine is running, and then its availability, like 100% always available or not, right? Yeah, and then this its actual output. This was the expected, but it is giving us this, right? This goes a long way for us to also know that which machine is not being efficient for us, right? It can be available, yeah, and then if there is any downtime that needs to be recorded, we know that this is the machine issue that it's sort of have. Now, moving from that side, you realize that there is performance in terms of percentage, where you realize that, okay, if this is the expected output over the actual, then what is the OEE percent? Which you typically find like a 60% or whatever percentage that should be in terms of impact. And then we are showing the OEE status, right? So I believe for sure this critical report that we have looked at overall, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 production scrap variance, production cost analysis, labor efficiency report, right? If you are new to ERPNext, is a great product, and you can always visit powersoftsystem.com, and wherever country that you are, yes, we are implementing in different countries as far as the happiness is concerned. You can also find our contact directly on our website or even on this YouTube description page for this particular video. Rest assured that, yeah, if you have already implemented a solution and you need this kind of report, you can directly reach out to us and we'll deploy this custom report for you. If you are looking at implementing the entire suite of ERPness or it being a specific model, do not hesitate to reach out to us, and then we will help you streamline your operations and bring best practices and provide you support all the way from step one, so that you'll be able to manage your processes and be able to have the efficiency that we have already helped a lot of clients to leverage on. Thank you very much. It was wonderful having you. Hope to see you very soon in my next video.